Oh, what is going on, guys? Sean Don coming back at you with a technical analysis. Here we have Sophia Adams. Uh, I believe it was a 50-meter throw at her conference meet. I saw Justin Herbert's post, and I think, what was it? 2 fouls. Crushes his throw. Final throw prelims. And yeah, I think it was like a 2-meter PR, something like that. So, pretty intense throw, if you ask me. But let's take a look. Okay. Overall, the shapes look pretty good. You hear a coach in the background saying "good sh." If you can figure out what that phrase means, I concur. But just looks a little tight through the upper body. Orbit's pretty good. Maybe a little heavy on the right leg and then 2 and 3 a little bit, but yeah, I don't know. Justin told me to try to keep this as simple as possible. Because Sophia, I guess you have the tendency to turn things into brain surgery, which, it happens. But, so I'll try to keep it simple. But the whole point of this in-depth analysis is to really get down to the nitty-gritty and figure out why things are happening. So yeah, if you have any questions afterward, just let me know, and I can give you like 2 or 3 cues just to focus on instead of a whole list of things that I'll go over in this 15, probably minute video. So yeah, breaking it down through the winds. Pretty solid. Looks like you could be a little bit more over on this left leg. You can see it's very stiff, very straight. Bend your knees a little bit more. And yeah, you can see, so like you're pretty much standing straight up here, and then as you go to enter, you sit your hips down. So I'd say try to stay in this position. You see how your knees are, you have like a nice quarter squat position. Your chest comes down and forwards just a little bit as the hips sink down and back. So like I said, just try to hold this position right here through the winds. You see how, like I said, quarter squat position, hips level, hips forwards, shoulders back over the hips. Try to stay upright. You don't want to necessarily lean backwards, but you don't want to go forwards with the chest. So if you just set up that position and then start your winds, keep your winds the exact same, but just have this bent lower body position with a little bit better posture. That might help with connection a little bit. It's this shift from standing to sitting a little bit that adds just a little bit of inconsistency in the throw. But otherwise, yeah, move forwards. Like I said, you sink down a little bit. You can see you're a little heavy on the right side. Like I said, more weight back on this left, over this left foot. Even if you just if you could shift your whole body, like, I'd say maybe like 8 inches to your left. So like I said, you're just kind of a little bit set up more over that left side. Just a little heavy on the right. Hands kind of coming down a little bit. Like I said, hands kind of come down, chest kind of comes down, hips kind of sit back right on the entry, but it looks nice and long through here. That right elbow kind of comes down a little bit. I'd say try to keep that right elbow up a little bit, keep your hands up a little bit. This kind of goes back to the posture thing. Better posture will help you have a little bit of a flatter orbit in this first turn in the entry, which will help smooth things out a little bit. Right now, like I said, things going to come down, hips going to shift back, a little bit away from the left side. You can see as the ball comes through 0. You can see this left hip shift back, and you never really quite get out over this left heel. You can see, once again, if I were to draw a line through the heel, knee is in line, shoulder is in line, but the hip is kind of back. But it is slightly tilted counterclockwise. Sorry, let's see if I can draw a line. Let's see if it works. But yeah, you can see like through right here. You can see that tilt. You want that to be a little bit more upright, perpendicular to the ground. You want this left knee out a little bit more over this middle of the foot, and then you want this left hip a little bit more forwards as well. Starting off the heel isn't very easy, but it definitely is not. You're not doing yourself any favors by being just a little bit too heavy on this right side right here. This ball comes through 0. Additionally, you can see your head and this left side in general, the head, but the shoulder, hip, like I said, this stuff just shifts back a little bit and leads the ball just a hair. You can see the ball comes through 0. there's a little bit of separation here, which is necessary, but I think if you just like waited, like if you held your left side right here and let the ball get to like right there, things would feel just a little bit easier. Whereas right now, like I said, you're just leading the ball a little bit, and that's kind of why you're also back heavy on this right a little bit, because this left side's doing work and kind of shifting you away from the left side. As the ball goes through 0, you can see this right leg starting to turn. That's good. But yeah, you got to use that right leg a little bit more. Like I said, just try to use your right leg to shift this body over to this left side a little bit more and hold this left side axis a little bit more stable. Ball goes around it. I see some residual tightness in the arms, just a slight bend. Decent single support movement. But since, like I said, you are kind of shifting away from the left side, you're a little heavy on the right. You can see there's just a slight tilt in the hips and a slight tilt in the shoulders, which is going to kind of indicate that you're going to kind of step over and be a little bit heavy on this right leg. And you can even see it gets a little bit more pronounced as that right foot actually comes down. You see the hips are back, chest is forward, and just a little bit heavy on the right side. Not bad, but so like I said, it pretty much all comes back to the winds and entry, setting up that posture right and making sure you set up that left side axis right. And if you do that, this catch will get better. One thing you can think about is driving that right hip towards the high point. Excuse me. So like right as the ball comes through here, drive that right hip towards it and step and put your foot down. Whereas right now, it kind of comes around just a little bit too much. You see it looks like you almost over-rotate just slightly with the right foot. And that's why you kind of catch the ball, not late, but at about 270. Your hips are turned ahead of the ball. You want to have your, like I said, right hip towards the ball, hip square to the ball. Your right foot comes down instead of turning ahead of the ball just a little bit. Otherwise, like I said, just a little heavy on the right. Hips are back. That's the biggest thing right here is that the hips are back and the shoulder is forward. You want this left shoulder to kind of be back more over this left hip. Mostly, kind of think like, once again, just load that left heel a little bit more. Otherwise, you're doing a good job waiting for the ball here. Left heel comes down, right leg's really working the ball nicely. This is good stuff. Left shoulder's a little bit more stable over that left side. But then you see, like I said, that little bit of left side leading in the entry is just magnified a little bit here. You see left heel comes down on ball as it goes through 0. You see right here, these two frames. You see that left side start to go ahead. Right leg is with the ball, that's really good, but you see this left side and left leg. Just the whole left side, shoulder, leg, head, everything is just ahead of the ball by about like an eighth of a turn or so, 45 degrees, I don't know. But doing a good job working with the ball and waiting for it, so like this is pretty solid stuff. But then you can see once again as the ball goes left right here, the left shoulder just pulls back a little bit, and you can see once again some tightness in the arm. So there's that slight bend in the right arm. You got to relax. Let the ball go long out to the left side. Think about stretching out to the net. Let the ball stretch. Relax your arms, and you keep your core and torso and hips and everything tight and working, and relax your shoulders, and it'll help. It'll make it feel much more effortless and connected. Whereas right now, like I said, that left side's just cutting it off a little bit, and that's why this right arm's bent a little bit, and that's why you're just a little bit tight in general. But same thing, left side goes too early as you go through single support. You can see same thing, kind of tilt through the shoulders, tilt through the hips, and then once again, hips. You kind of step around here. You also rise up just a little bit, very slightly. This left leg straightens out just a hair at the end of that double support. You can see left leg's pretty straight, where at this point this left knee should be dropping towards the ground. But you see right hip, same kind of thing. Ball's long out here, but this right hip kind of goes across rather than stepping to the ball. And that's why you kind of come around again. You see it's a combination of stepping around and then also straighten that left leg a little bit. You come just around a little bit and catch just at about 270. Same thing, hips turned ahead. Shoulders back square to the ball, but hips turned ahead is kind of not the best thing. You can also see bend in left leg, but right leg's pretty straight. Ideally, you want both legs bent and, like I said, hip square to the ball. Catch. And you see there's just a little drop here too. just slightly, just a little bit, coming down with the ball. But yeah, same thing, left heel comes down, and same thing, left side just goes too early. Like literally one frame too early. If you could just chill this left side out until the ball gets to like right there, that'd be so much better. But like I said, right leg's doing a good job working with the ball. But yeah, you can still see more tightness in that right arm, a little bit bent. Left side going, head pulling up and back away. Left leg straightening out a little bit more here. Hips going towards the ball, which is really good. This is something that a lot of people don't do. They don't get those hips forward towards the ball. Instead, they sink the hips back and the shoulders are kind of towards the ball. When this is the right idea, you just got to, like I said, your timing of that left side action is a little bit too early. Solid stuff here. Same thing, just a little tightness through the arms means you're going to shorten the amount of time the ball has to go around that left side. So then the shorter that is, let's see if I can think the word, the shorter it takes the time to go around the left side, the later you're going to catch. Okay, there we go. So yeah, just got to relax the arms. Once again, make this portion from 0 to 180. Let the ball go as long and cover as much distance as possible. That way you, because the right leg action is always going to pretty much be more or less the same time. So let's say if it takes you 0.1 seconds to put your right foot down, and you know, if you can make the time from the ball to go from 0 to 180, or well, from whatever end of double support through single support, if you can make that time 1.2 or 0.12, I'm just throwing numbers out here. I'm not making this simple at all, my bad. But so yeah, let's say it takes 0.1 seconds to put this right foot down, and you run the ball long enough, and it takes 1.2 seconds. 0.12 seconds, pardon my brain farts today. If you make it take 1.2 seconds, you're going to catch earlier. Whereas if you shorten this left side, you have 0.09 seconds to put that right foot down. And that's why you catch a little bit late. So that's pretty much what's happening here. The longer you can send this ball around the left side, the faster you're going to get that right foot down, the earlier you're going to catch. So you got to relax those arms. Drive the hip towards the ball, keep square. You can see here, same thing, tilt through the left side, tilt through the hips. Right leg getting a little wild now because it's trying to, I guess it's kind of like counterbalancing. You have a lot of energy, once again, going towards this left side, your camera view left side, going towards the right side of what would be double support. So your right leg is kind of outstretched to the right to counteract that and balance yourself so you don't get totally thrown off balance. Same thing, tilted hips kind of stepping around. And yeah, like I said, latest catch because this left leg straightens out. Same thing, left leg, your left side is just a little bit overactive, right arm's a little bit tight. Right leg comes wide. You can see more tilt. You're turning ahead of the ball here. And like same thing, I think if you step towards the ball and if you could drop this left knee towards the ground a little bit more, you'd be able to get that right foot down right about here as opposed to there. Latest catch in the final turn is generally not the best. And like I said, hip still back a little bit. Left shoulder needs to be back more over this left hip. Alright, hips need to be more forwards. Right knee needs to be a little bit more bent. Left knee needs to be a little bit more bent. But luckily you caught this with like just enough weight in between your feet that you're able to smack the finish. Like a really solid finish here. Salvaged some things, caught. And you can see your hips going towards your hands. Left shoulder pulling away a little bit. This left hip is staying nice and stable. The right leg's working the ball through, hips going towards hands. Coming up, you can literally see the extension to the lower body. This triple extension through the right leg. Nice long arms up and out, very square. You see just a little bit pull back with that left foot, but I'm not even gonna. That's totally fine, totally acceptable. Means you had enough weight on that right foot to really drive through it. So yeah, hopefully that wasn't overly complicated, but had to wet my whistle really quickly. But yeah, so overall, like I said, it pretty much all comes back to the winds and the entry, and yeah. So one more time through really quick. Like I said, set up your posture in your lower body a little bit lower, just like you do in your turns, just do it in your winds. So that's one less thing you have to worry about changing as you enter the ball. And then hips forward, chest up, better posture will prevent you from dipping down. And the less you dip down, the more stable that left side will be, and the more stable the left side will be, the easier it'll be to run the ball. And the easier it is to run the ball, the more time you have to put your foot down. And if you catch on time, everything else goes well. If you catch just slightly late, this left side's going to go ahead like it does. So your hips and your right leg working the ball is really good. It's just the left side's a little antsy. So, all right, hopefully that helps. If you have any questions, like I said, let me know. Have Justin talk to me. I am here to help. So, all right, nice toss. Shanda. Peace now.